Hi! This instructional video is about solving equations, solving one-step equations. In this case, we're going to solve an equation by using the subtraction property of equality. What that basically means is, in order to solve this equation, an equation where we're trying to figure out what that number over here should be, to solve it, we're going to use a subtraction property. Here's how it works. Well, first, you could use your mental math, right? What number plus 15? What number plus 15 would give you 20? And if you said, 5. 5 plus 15 is 20. Well, that'll be correct. But now, how do you show that algebraically? Here's how it's done. To solve for the missing variable or solve for the variable, you're going to take that constant away from the x to the other side by doing the opposite. What's opposite of plus 15? Minus 15. And the rule is, whatever you do to one side of the equation, you have to do it to the other side. So since you subtracted 15 on the left side, you have to subtract 15 on the right side. And this is called the subtraction property of equality. Whatever you do to one side, it must be the same on the other side so that it's equal. And in this case, we're going to subtract both sides. So on the left side, plus 15 minus 15 is called an additive inverse. You know, when you add, like, what's the opposite of 5? Well, plus 5. That becomes a 0. That negative 5 is called, or that minus 5 is called an additive inverse of that positive 5. What is the opposite of negative 7? Plus 7. So the plus 7 is the additive inverse of that negative 7, because if you add them or combine them together, it always gives you a 0. Additive inverse. So since these two are additive inverse to each other, they become 0. They cancel out. So all that remains on the left side of the equation is the x. And of course, 20 minus 15 is 5. And if you want to do a mental check, well, 5 plus 15 is, voila, 20. Yeah, I know it's pretty easy, but can you use the algebraic properties to solve numbers 2 and 3? Why don't you go ahead? All right, so again, if you use your mental math, you're asking, well, what number plus 5 would equal 8? Well, you said 3, I'm sure. But to show the algebraic process, you do the opposite or the inverse operation of plus 5, which is minus 5. And whatever you do to one side of the equation, you must do it to the other. So that on the right side, where we just subtracted the 5, they're additive inverse to each other, so they become 0. You don't even need to bother writing it. It's just x on the right side of the equal symbol. And of course, 8 minus 5 is 3. And for those of you who are joining the algebra lesson for the first time, hey, what does 3 equal x? Well, it could go the other way. Just like when you're on a seesaw, it doesn't matter which side you're on. In this case, what is that missing x you've been looking for? Well, that x is 3. And this one? Yeah, the opposite of plus 2.5 is minus 2.5. And whatever you do to the left side of the equation, you must do it to the other. But remember, like back in 4th grade, you learned about adding and subtracting real numbers or decimal numbers from the whole. Be careful. So we have 2.5 minus 2.5. They're additive inverse to each other. They become 0. So it just becomes x on the left side of the equal symbol. And 16 minus 2.5, well, that's like saying $16. Take away $2.50. So let's put a 0.0. 0 minus 5? No can do. So we're going to borrow a whole number from a 6. That will become a 5. So that 0 now is going to become a 10. And 10 minus 5 is 5. 5 minus 2 is 3. 1 minus nothing? Well, that's 1. So the answer is 13.5. And we have used subtraction property of equality for each of those equations. All right. Good luck.